Today we got something special. We got two boxes. One side we have the iSAVE, which is a ventilator distribution machine, and here we have the accessories that come along with it. So we can use iSAVE to basically split the ventilation from a single ventilator to two patients. That's the idea of this. So let's get started. Let's open up what you get within these boxes. So on the top we have the tablet, which is going to be our HMI for the iSAVE. So we've got a nice Lenovo tablet here, and we have the power system for the iSAVE. And here we have the iSAVE itself. The iSAVE itself, so you can see there's 4 ports here. We got the power system here, so this is your DC power source, and this is for the tablet to power. So let's see what we got here. So on each side we also have 2 additional components here for the Peep, so we can adjust the Peep. So on either side, you can see that there's patient ports. There's patient left, and then there's patient right. This is the inspiratory port, expiratory port of patient right, inspiratory, expiratory of patient left. And on the right side, you can see that there's a valve. So you can rotate this as per what you need, and basically you can control the flow that is going to a patient. Over here we got the Peep. So Peep, what we got to do is we open this up, and we can screw this in here. And basically the idea is you can titrate the Peep to what values you need, and you can adjust for each patient. So I'm just going to do that for the left patient side also. So we got the right patient Peep also. Now let's connect up our power. So we'll connect this, and we'll put it through our connected to this DC jack over here. On this side you can notice there's a tablet charging port, so we can power the tablet. You can connect that here, and then slide in the tablet to the top. Tablet will hold, and we can connect the power as we normally do. So now the tablet's in place, the power's in place. So let's open the other box up. Okay, let's see what's inside this. So first of all, we got the patient's circuit. So this comes with one-way valves for each side. So we got 2 of these for either patients. the iSAVE. We have additional flow sensors, the Venturis. So there are two of those. We have a couple of HME filters and CVF filters so that the inside of the system doesn't get contaminated, or there's no cross-contamination happening or goes into the air or anything like that. So put that to the side. We have caps for closing the ports that's needed. We have two patient lungs, so this can be used to test the device to see if there's anything wrong. Put that to the side. I'm just going to walk through what all we got inside the accessories bag. So we have the BVF filters, so you can see that it's white, all capped, and HME filters. So we got two of those. We have 4 BVF filters. We got 2 artificial lungs, 1 liter each. We got our patient circuits. We got 2 of them. They're already connected with the one-way valves. So this is inspiration from large to small, expiration from large here to small here. This is our proximal connection in this capped area. We also have some caps that we can use while we are putting iSAVE in storage or during any pre-use check. We can use this. We have 2 Venturi flow sensors. These are additional sensors in case that is needed. Here we have Ambu bag, so we can use this in pre-use check. So those are the items that we got with the accessories. So let's start and set this up. Let's put the 2 patient circuits on. So first, let's connect all the BVF filters. Make sure these are all capped so that there's no leak. The white cap should always be. Okay, we got all the ports connected up. Now let's connect the left patient's circuit. So again, this is the inspiratory port for the patient. So we connect to the inspiratory port of iSAVE. So this is inspiration. It's marked here as I. So this is the left patient connection for inspiration, and this is the left patient connection for expiration. Okay, and let's also connect up the artificial lung. Before we connect up the artificial lung, we need to make sure we put on the HME filter on the proximal side. Make sure it's capped. We connect it to the artificial lung. Let's put that to the side. Similarly, let's connect up the right patient. So again, inspiration connection here, large to small valve. Inspiration for the right patient, expiration for the right patient. Let's connect the BVF filter. Let's put the patient lung. Again, make sure all of these are capped so that there's no leak in the circuit. If there is a leak, we do have alarms that will bring up in the iSAVE. So all these filters are needed so that we don't contaminate the insides of iSAVE, and also any contamination or exposure to the air that may occur. Okay, so let's boot up iSAVE. So power on from here, and you can see there's an on-off switch. So we'll power that, and a red LED glows if it's powered up. We'll make a sound also. Here, so you can see the tablet has gotten power. Now we're turning it on from the top power button. So it'll boot up. Okay, so while it's booting up, let's connect up the ventilator to the iSAVE. Need to connect up the ventilator to the iSAVE. So we'll do this like we do normally. So on the ventilator side, we're going to connect the inspiration to the inspiration to expiration, as we normally would. And on the iSAVE, you can see that it's marked for the ventilator port I and E. So this is for inspiration port, this is expiration port. So we'll connect up the inspiration tube from the ventilator to the iSAVE. And similarly, we'll connect up the expiration port from ventilator to iSAVE. So you can connect up your pressure sensing or anything like that if it's external on that port. Okay, now that we have everything connected, iSAVE is also booted up. So this is the screen that you'll be met with. Currently, we're not giving any ventilation. So you can see that left side patient data is going to be displayed here. So we got the peak inspiratory pressure, peak and end expiratory pressure PEEP, TVI is inspiratory tidal volume, TV is expiratory tidal volume, and CD is for compliance. So that's for blue is for left patient and red is for right patient. So let me walk you through the other HMI features. So we got the pressure, flow, and volume displayed here. If you want to switch through and just see one patient's graphs, you can just click this circle over here and you can see that this is for left patient, this is for right patient, and this is for both patients. You need to make sure that your power is on so that the tablet will not lose power and the connection is present. We can also set the alarms here. So we have an alarm screen, so we can set our min and max for PIP, PEEP, and tidal volume. So we can set that using these plus or minus keys, or we can use a slider to adjust these values. We can also reset to default if you want it that way. That way peak inspiratory pressure is between 0 and 40. We can also do auto adjust. So auto adjust works when the ventilation is running. So let's go back. Okay, so let's start up our ventilator and see what iSAVE can do. Okay, so I'm going to start ventilation from our ventilator. Okay, so let me set our tidal volume. I'm going to just set it to 800. So you should have somewhere around 400 tidal volume for each patient. RR is set to 15, IE is set to 1:2. Yeah. Okay. So now you can see that iSAVE is already distributing the ventilation to the two patients. We're in VCCMV mode on the ventilator. So you can see that the lungs are rising and reducing. Here we can see that the pressure graph is like this, flow graph is like this, volume graph is like this. Both patients in this case have similar compliance, so these graphs will be quite similar for both patients. We can see our values for peak inspiratory pressure, PEEP, tidal volume, expiratory tidal volume, CD. So now, key feature of the iSAVE, we can start to adjust our valves and distribute the flow to the two patients separately. So we can turn this valve knob to closer to close. Before it was completely open. So now we are reducing what is going into the right patient, and you can see how this is affecting the graphs. So here we can see that the tidal volume for the right patient is much lower than the left patient. So we can continually titrate these values to get the appropriate ventilation that we want for each patient from the single ventilator. So here you can see that tidal volume for left patient is 578. Here it is 200, 220, around that value. Similarly, we can adjust the Peep over here. So we just rotate this knob and we can titrate this knob and watch the values as they occur on the screen, and we can get different Peep. So here I've applied a Peep of 12 to right patient, so that's why you can see graph like this. So let's reduce that to somewhere. Yep. So we have two different Peeps for both patients. Here we have 6, and here we have next to 0. Similarly, for right patient, we can do the same. We can adjust the valves here and control our splitting to the left patient, and also the Peep. So we can individualize the amount that we want to give to left patient and the amount we want to give to the right patient. Let me show some of the alarms in action. So let's open up the alarm screen, and let's say I set my alarms. Let's say PIP is for left patient is this much. Let's turn that on. So you can see that we have high Peep for patient left. You can mute that. It'll keep ringing over here, but we can mute that. Similarly, we can do that for the right patient. We can adjust the Peep. Let's say our minimum Peep for this patient is three and max is 4. So we also have our Peep alarm, but I've already muted the previous alarm, otherwise it will ring. So we have alarm priorities also listed over there. We can check our previous alarms over here. So these were the 2 alarms that rang and what time they rang and what time they're ending. So these alarms have not ended yet. So let's go back, let's reset our alarms. So let's use auto adjust. So auto adjust is a nice feature where we can it'll auto set the min and max values for each of these alarms, and that way we have a comfortable margin in which the errors can occur. So you can see that since I've adjusted the valve on the right side, my min and max values for patient R tidal volume is 150 to 210, whereas left side is 510 to 700. Let's save that. And it will be in the, you can see that these alarms are pretty much going away because they're within the margin. Similarly, if we don't know what we want, we can just reset. We can auto adjust if we don't know what we want, or we can reset to default, and that'll just make sure that the peak inspiratory pressure is within safe range. Okay, let's save those settings. Yeah, so this is volume control mode on the ventilator. So let's reset all of our Peeps, and let's also test out pressure control mode. So now my valves and everything is correct. I've opened up the Peep to minimum, and I've opened up the valve. So let's test out pressure control mode. So we have PCCMP, setting that. Okay, so PP is set to, let's set that to maybe 25. 1.5, we're getting a tidal volume of 1,400. So far we've shown VCCMV mode with the iSAVE. Let's switch our ventilator to pressure control. So the iSAVE also supports pressure control, mandatory ventilation. So we save our settings. So let's reduce the pressure a bit. Let's put 10 cmHO as our PV. Our RR is the same, 15, IE is 1:2. Let's see what's happening on the iSAVE side. So here you can see a very different graph. We got pressure control on both patients. So our P peak is around 10 to 11, around there. So in pressure control mode, we won't be rotating this valve. We can adjust the PEEP over here. So I'm now increasing the PEEP for right patient. Let's reduce that a bit. I think that was overkill. Okay. So we can see the graph for pressure. So we're getting a PEEP of 6.7. Similarly, we can adjust for the left patient. So let's increase our PEEP. Yeah. So now we have two different PEEPs for each patient. We got 3.8 and we got 7.5. When we are swapping out patients in iSAVE in pressure control mode, first what we do is we can turn off the whichever patient that we want to exchange. So we're closing the valve over here. Then we'll disconnect the patient connections. So there won't be any flow over here. Now, if we want to put it back, so let's put a new patient in. So this is a new patient. Connect this back, and we open this up. So we should get back whatever values we were on, or depending on the compliance, there might be small adjustments. In volume control mode, this is not what we do. We first reduce the ventilator volume on the ventilator to half of what it was. Then we close this valve, and then we take it out and replace the patient in. And then we increase the volume back to what it was originally. And then we open up the valve. Okay, thank you for watching this demo.